Hi, my name is Cassandra, and this is my journey through code. So hello everyone, my name is Cassandra Campbell. I'm a graduating senior attending Spelman College, majoring in computer science. I started in CS very different than other people. So I went to a career and technical education high school in New York City, which basically is similar to a trade school where you could pick a discipline and go from there and earn certifications as well. So I went into tech, into the information networking, information system side, which is more of Cisco networking. And that's how I really found my love for tech. So as I started doing research senior year, I was so excited and I thought that computer science was the same thing. And then I got to school and my professor said, today we'll be learning Java. And I was like, no, this is not networking. This is not networking at all. And although I was doing well in the class, I considered changing my major because it just was too hard, too challenging, not something that I wanted to do. So one of my professors said to me, you're doing really well in the class. Why do you want to take the easy way out? Like, if this is challenging, that's good. That means that not everyone is doing it. You want to stand out. So that's really how my journey started, and that's what made me, she really encouraged me to stick through it.
Oh, okay. I'm curious to find out, why did you choose to go into the tech discipline like in high school?
Well, I don't know, so I always had a love for tech because growing up, I was the only girl around 4 boys. So I have an older brother and then I had 3 older cousins. Okay. So being the only girl, I was always into video games, basketball, wrestling, things like that. So I think that pretty much gave me the segment through the interest of technology. And then once I got to high school, that class really was just like, okay, this is a game changer. I really want to do this.
Do you have like any advice for anyone maybe that's watching and is currently going through those periods of time where you're like, oh, this is really hard?
Oh, sure. So my advice would be, know that you are capable of doing it. Know that you are there for a reason. You're smart, you're capable, you are not dumb. Everyone else is going through the same thing. Know that everybody else is going through the same thing. Everybody's just silent. No one is saying anything to you. So that, I would say that would be my first form of advice, is just know that you're capable, know that don't let anybody tell you otherwise, that you're here for a reason. You got into the program, so that means you obviously qualify. And I will also say find a community of people who are encouraging, whether that may be a teacher who may introduce you to other students, because I've had that happen in some of my classes before. I may have struggled with one subject and I visited office hours and met someone in there who was like, oh, I just figured that out 2 minutes ago. So I think that is another way to definitely know who you are. Find some kind of community, whether that be through LinkedIn, whether that be through meetups, or just finding some kind of outlet on campus. And I would say you're closer than you think you are. I would say that would be my last form of advice, is you're closer than most people and you're closer than you think you are.
I guess shifting gears a bit more now that close to graduation, how's your experience as a woman of color going into this industry going through CS and everything? Yeah.
Well, I think my experience was more of me thinking I was intimidating myself, in the sense of me thinking I was incapable of doing it, but everyone else around me saying, no, you're capable of doing it. So at first, being at tech is such a male-dominated field, I was very nervous to take classes with males, because a lot of times as women, we try to put on this facade or this portray of I call it superwoman syndrome, which means we try to be strong and we can't see anybody. We can't let anybody see us fail or see us cry or get an answer wrong. So a lot of times I would not ask questions at all. If I was going to take a class with a class full of males and me being the only woman, I would already be going in just thinking on the defense, kind of okay, I already know that I'm going to have to prove myself in this class. Or I would hold back on a lot of questions, and I'll just say, oh, I'll email the professor, or I'll visit them in office hours. I never wanted people to publicly hear my struggles. And the thing is, when I took classes with other males, they were just like, we're here to help. Like, that's what I mean. You have to find that community. So it was really shocking even in, I'm going to transition from tech in school to tech in the industry. But I think even in school, I was just putting my own self in the bubble and kind of isolating myself based on the different stereotypes I heard about the tech industry. So it was really shocking how open arms and welcoming that they were when I took classes with a lot of males, or just a class with all males and I was the only female. And in the tech industry, based on some of my past experiences, I haven't really struggled too much. I feel like I feel like I struggled more in the classroom, just my own form of like just self-doubt. But I don't think anyone bullied me or kind of told me why are you here, or why you're not capable of this, you can't do it. I think it was more of my own thoughts. And in the tech world, after that experience of having male roles really uplift me, it boosted my confidence. So going into the tech industry, I was a little nervous, but I had more confidence to know that, no, you're here for a reason. You got this. You can do it. And once again, I had a different experience. It was just like, you know what you're doing. You're good. So don't doubt it. And I had that happen a lot also in the tech industry. I would go into roles and I would be like, is this right? Oh, can you just make sure this is correct? And they're like, don't doubt yourself. Even if you're wrong, you're right. Like, because a lot of times, I think it goes back to that as women. A lot of times we say, oh, we have to be perfectionists. It has to be right. Or we don't want other people to question it. So we start questioning it. While a lot of times as men, they can say 2 + 2 = 5 and give you a straight, stern answer and say that is the rule, that's what it is. While woman is like, oh well, 2 + 2 = 4, right? Isn't it 4? I think a lot of times we put a lot of doubt in the way we say things, while men can just go in and be completely wrong and say it with a lot of stern in their voice and a lot of confidence, honestly. So I think that pretty much was my experience when it comes to being not only a woman but a Black woman in tech. That's pretty much been how I've been able to navigate through it all.
You're graduating in May.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for graduation?
So my plans for graduation is to first be proud, celebrate. I might cry a little bit because it's been a long journey. And then I plan on going into some tech role and work my way from there. And also, I'm really big on giving back, paying it forward. So I'm going to try to find ways where I can pour back into my community while my community pours into me. I think we have to remember a lot of times we can't forget where we come from. Don't forget where you started. Don't forget the people that was there when you had absolutely nothing. You knew not one lick of code. Like, you have to remember those people when you reach your form of success. So I think that would be my plan, to just pat myself on the back. Like, yes, you've made it. God has got you through this. You're here. And then just find ways where I can help other people get into, especially women and younger girls, get interested in technology, so that I could be that role model and that end result for them. Like, okay, if she did it, this is a thing. We can do this.
Yeah. So, I guess any advice for anybody that's watching this video and thinking about like starting their career or in the process right now? I know you gave some advice earlier on, but anything else that you may want to add on to that? I would say definitely, it kind of sounds repetitive, but definitely find that community, because I think if I didn't have that community, I would have switched my major. I would have been doing something completely different. I would have found other ways to intertwine code into my life. And as a matter of fact, I could kind of piggyback off of that and make that a tip as well. Like, don't think that you have to just go into code if you want to do computer science, or if you want to do something game design or game development. A lot of times people think, if I want to be a lawyer, I can't be a computer science major because, that has nothing to do with law. That is completely wrong. If you're an English major, you could be an English major. I know history majors who have many roles in computer science. So don't think that it's just one route to get to where you're going. There's many routes, many ways to get there. And before you know it, you could possibly make a law app or some type of innovative product that combines both of your disciplines. So I wouldn't get too caught up in that. I think that would be
probably my best advice, because I think I struggle with that too. Like, okay, well, if I want to do computer science, if I want to make video games, I'm just gonna have to stick with CS. I can't find any way around it. Or if I want to pour back into my community, not necessarily just in tech, but more of the business aspect of it, of how things are all put together, how people design different products, I'm just gonna have to be a business major. And then I had to learn, like, there's many roles in tech that combine both roles. So that would be my advice.
Okay.